There once lived a man named Job in the land of Uz, a man of integrity and faith. Job was blameless and upright, a man who feared God and always stayed far from evil. He was well known for his righteousness, and many admired him. Job had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he was surrounded by many servants. His wealth was unmatched. He owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 oxen, and 500 donkeys, making him the richest man in the East. Among all the people of the East, Job was the greatest. He was a man of wisdom, kindness, and generosity, and everyone held him in the highest regard. One day the angels came to present themselves before God, and Satan came with them. They were all gathered before God to answer for their actions. God asked Satan, "Where have you come from?" To which Satan answered, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it, looking for opportunities to test and deceive." God spoke highly of his servant Job, saying, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one like him on the earth. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." Satan challenged God's word, saying, "Does Job fear God for no reason? You've blessed him abundantly. If you remove everything he has, he will surely curse you." God granted Satan permission to test Job, saying, "Very well, everything he has is in your power, but do not harm him physically. Do not lay a finger on Job himself." One day, while Job was at home, the unthinkable began to unfold. Messengers came one by one, bringing him dreadful news. The first messenger came rushing in, saying, "The Sabaeans attacked and took your oxen and donkeys. They killed the servants, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." Before the first messenger even finished, another burst through the door, saying, "The fire of God has fallen from the heavens and consumed all the sheep and the servants. I am the only one who survived." The third messenger arrived, saying, "The Chaldeans raided your camels and killed your servants. I am the only one left to tell you what happened." The fourth messenger entered with devastating news. "A mighty wind struck your children's home. It collapsed, and they are dead. I am the only one who escaped to tell you." In a single moment, Job's world was turned upside down. His wealth was gone, his children were lost. But Job stood up, tore his robe, shaved his head in mourning, and fell to the ground in worship. "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord," he said. Sometime later, Satan appeared before God once more, ready to question Job's integrity again. God said, "Job still maintains his integrity. Though you incited me to ruin him, he has not sinned." Satan defiantly challenged God once again. "If you strike his flesh and bones, he will surely curse you to your face." God said, "Very well, he is in your hands, but spare his life." Satan struck Job with painful boils from head to toe, causing him unimaginable pain and suffering. Job, now in excruciating pain, sat in ashes, scraping his sores with broken pottery, seeking some relief from his agony. Job's wife, seeing his suffering, said, "Are you still holding on to your integrity? Curse God and die." Job replied to her, "Shall we accept good from God and not also accept trouble?" When Job's 3 friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, heard of his suffering, they left their homes and came to mourn with him. When they saw Job, they were shocked. They did not recognize him in his condition, and they wept aloud for him. For 7 days and 7 nights, Job's friends sat with him in silence. They saw the depth of his grief and offered no words. After 7 days, Job finally spoke and cursed the day of his birth, saying, "Let the day I was born perish." He wished he had never been born. Eliphaz spoke, accusing Job of having done something wrong. "No innocent man suffers like this." He said, "You must have sinned." Job replied, "What truth? You twist my pain into something wrong. God knows my heart, and I will not deny my integrity." Bildad accused Job, saying, "Your children must have sinned. If you were truly righteous, God would help you." Job cried out, "You mock me. If God would answer me, I'd plead my case, but he hides while I suffer. Zophar said, You're lying to yourself. Confess your sin before God's judgment comes. Job clung to his innocence while his friends continued to accuse him. Job's pain grew deeper, and he cried out for answers. Finally, from the storm, God spoke to Job, saying, Who is this who speaks without knowledge? God asked Job, Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Can you guide the stars or control the weather? Job said, I am nothing. I spoke without understanding. I put my hand over my mouth. Job said, I had heard of you before, but now I have seen you with my own eyes. God restored Job's fortunes, blessing him with twice as much as before, 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. God gave Job 7 more sons and 3 daughters, restoring his family and his joy. Job lived another 140 years, seeing his children and grandchildren grow, living to see the 4th generation. At the end of his life, Job died an old man, full of years. His legacy of faith, perseverance, and trust in God remained for generations to come.